Following up on the one-string scale concept that we looked at in the previous video, we can create chords on each of those notes within the scale. Now, there's some music theory at play here, but we can instantly convert it to shapes on the guitar and then kind of sidestep the theory. And for guitar purposes, that's okay for now. One of the things that you need to be aware of are the types of chords. Now, when we have these three-note structures, we're actually building a chord from the notes of the scale. And whenever you build a chord on the first note of the scale, you're going to use the first note of the scale, the third note of the scale, and the fifth note of the scale. And when you play those three notes together, they sound like a major chord or a major triad, we'll call it. Now, the distances between the notes are what makes the triad major or minor. The distances between the notes are what make the triad major or minor. A major triad, starting on the root of the key, will sound like this if we play the notes individually. I'll use the first fret F as my key or my 1 for my major scale. If I play the first, third, and fifth note of the scale, they are these three notes. Now, needless to say, because of the demands of the guitar, I can't play all three of those notes at the same time on the same string. If I'm going to use the first note of that scale, as the note on this top string, I'm going to have to put the other two notes, which are technically above 1, I'm going to put those down an octave so they will be below 1. So the first note I need to transpose down an octave is that note. Happens to be A, and it's right here. So that's an octave. This third note, that's a C, and it's right there on the second string. So if I play those three notes at the same time, I've got root, third, fifth of the chord, and those are the names that we give to those notes of the chord. Even if our chord is built on 2 and the notes included in that chord are 2, 4, and 6, we label the three notes of that triad as a root, a third, and a fifth. So the numbering gets a little confusing. I think it's important to just stay with shapes on the guitar. Those three notes are here. These three notes these three notes are also right here. I can play those three notes at the same time. Second fret on the third string and the first fret on both of these top two strings. Now, the difference between a major triad and a minor triad is that we need to move one note by a fret. If this is a major triad, if I lower this note by one fret, it falls to this fret, and now I can play all three of those strings with one finger. That's minor. A diminished triad is the other of the three forms of triads that you'll see in a major key. And from that minor triad that we just derived from major, we lowered a note, and we can lower one more note of this minor triad, and it will become diminished. It's actually the note here that's on the second string. So now we have this shape. Now I'm actually playing an open string, so if I were to pretend to have to finger that, I now have this shape. So if I move those to another position on the guitar, I might have this particular case G major, G minor, and G diminished. So if you can follow the scale that you outlined on one string, you should be able to harmonize those notes with the notes of the triad that goes with each. So at this point, we just need to know which triads are major and which triads are minor. The triads in a major key that are major are built on the first, fourth, and fifth scale degree. We call those 1, 4, and 5. The triads that are minor in a major key are built on the second, third, and sixth scale degrees. We call those 2, 3, and 6. The triad that's built on the seventh scale degree is diminished. So now I just need to follow that scale up the string and play the appropriate triad type based on one of those three shapes. Now again, the shapes being major, minor, and diminished. I just need to make sure that the top string and whichever finger I'm playing it with needs to fall onto the right fret. And again, the distances being 2 frets or 1 fret as you go from one scale note to the next. In the key of F, my first chord is this. If I go 2 frets higher on this string, I'm going to the 2 chord, it's minor. The 3 chord is 2 frets higher. Now from 3 to 4 is only 1 fret, so I need to move this finger by a fret, and now I construct a major triad because I've memorized that the 4 chord is major. If I slide that up 2 frets, that's a major triad on 5. 2 frets higher is 6, and the 6 chord is minor. 2 frets above that, and the 7 chord is diminished. This finger is actually on the 12th fret, and I'm back to 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1.